Hello, this is Todd Hubbs, agricultural economist at the University of Illinois. This week I'm writing in my weekly outlook and talking about what everybody seems to be talking about this week, and it's the record corn yield forecast the USDA put out last Wednesday in their crop production forecast. At 181.3 bushels per acre, U.S. corn yield was significantly higher than market expectations and mine as well. I have to admit I was surprised by the number and having a tough time not being skeptical of it. I'm going to talk through that a bit today. This map's showing the yield by state and the change from the August projection that NASS put out for the September crop report. As you can see, many of the major producing states have recorded record yields this year. 7 of the top 10 corn states by harvested acreage have recorded record corn yields, and it came as a bit of a shock to me, particularly at 214 in Illinois. That was 13 bushels above our previous record of 201. Nebraska is also 13 bushels above. We have a few states like Ohio and South Dakota that are 11 and 12 bushels above the previous record. So these yields we're seeing this year are way above previous record yields. And while this has been a good crop year for corn, it didn't seem to be one that would record these kind of record yields way above trend line yield projections for each state. Having said that, the USDA has had a pretty good track record over the last few years in forecasting crop yields in September, so it's difficult to discount their number. But the yields we've heard coming out of the fields, or at least we've heard some lodging issues, we've heard some disease issues, and there's been a lot of inconsistency in corn yields across Illinois. So we'll see in the October production report whether this yield holds steady for some of these major producing states. But right now, the massive yield has put pressure on corn prices. This graph showing the final corn yield minus the September forecast from 1997 through 2017 by the USDA national yield. And like I said previously, the USDA has had a pretty good track record recently, and in particular, they've rarely missed high in their September forecast over the last few years. The last time we saw them do a significant miss was in 2010. So for those of you out there that are not believing this yield, you need to hope the USDA did a similar kind of mistake this year where they were almost 10 bushels higher in September than the final yield turned out being. But over the last few years, we've seen pretty consistent numbers, and if anything, they tended to miss low. Now with this quick maturing crop this year, maybe the USDA's overprojected it based on what they see with their satellite data and the objective yield survey and what farmers were telling them. But be careful about discounting them too much based on their recent track record. Since I'm in Illinois and spend all my time driving around Illinois and talking to people from Illinois, that 214 bushels an acre has been hard for me to swallow based on what I've seen from many farmers. When we look from 1997 through 2017, the Illinois final yield and September forecast from USDA, we see over the last few years they've been pretty good in their forecast, but there have been times like in 2010 and before where they've missed high in September. The thing about that 214 is it's so far above our previous record yield that we had last year of 201, and to think that we're going to do 13 bushels per acre throughout the state higher than last year, I know for a lot of people seems hard to believe. But right now, you have to take them at their word, and the market has adjusted accordingly. This is not just an Illinois thing. It's the Eastern Corn Belt and lots of the Western Corn Belt as well showing massive yields. So we've seen pressure on prices. We saw the December contract hit its market low. If we see this yield number increase like it has over the last few years, will that produce more pressure on prices? I don't know. I feel like we're getting near a bottom on corn prices. Even with the high yield, we still see massive consumption of corn through exports, ethanol use, feed and industrial uses in general. So corn's still being used at a high rate, and we still see a stocks use number a little above 11.5%. So while we've seen this huge yield number depress prices and keep pressure on prices. For us to get up near 4, we would probably need some kind of adjustment in yield, production issues in South America, or a real jump in corn consumption, mainly through the export market at this point. As we move forward through the harvest and into the next marketing year, we're going to still see a good corn crop this year. Barring some kind of yield adjustment, price pressure will continue from this large crop. And as we move through 18-19, we could see prices strengthen. We've seen basis sort of open up for corn and beans across Illinois recently. So if you're storing corn, I think there will still be a chance to make money on corn as we move through harvest and into the winter months. But this huge corn crop has definitely taken the rose off of corn prices, along with a lot of the trade issues that are holding down bean prices as well. Well, thank you for your time. You can find my weekly outlook and daily analysis of issues related to Corn Belt farm economics at farm.daily.illinois.edu. I look forward to seeing you around the state of Illinois.